I will be discussing polynomial division. I'm going to show you examples using the long division, area model, which is also known as the box method, and synthetic. So if your problem is shown like this, the way that you set it up using long division is whatever follows your division symbol will go on the outside of your division symbol for long division. So that is called your divisor. And what's in front of your division sign is your dividend, and that goes underneath your division symbol. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to go ahead and look at your first term of your dividend, and you're going to divide it by your first term of your divisor. And it's just going to be a process that you're repeating over and over. So you're going to do divide, multiply, subtract, and then bring down. I talked about this in another video, but just to refresh your memory. So I'm going to take that x to the fifth divided by x squared. Whatever I divide by will always be what I divide by. So the only thing that I'm going to be changing each step is my numerator. X to the fifth divided by x to the x squared is simply subtracting your exponent. So 5 minus 2 leaves me 3. So another way of saying it is I have 5x's, I take away 2, what's left over? Then I go to my dividend and I look for my x cubed. For me, that's how I set mine up. And so I'm going to start my quotient. My quotient is what my answer is once I divide. So I'm going to start that and I'm going to align them. So x cubed was my answer. My next step asks me to multiply. So what am I multiplying? Whatever this answer is times everything over here, which means I'm going to have to distribute 3 times. If I'm doing it correctly, my first term will always be what's above it. This is where I'm going to write my answer, x to the fifth. I got that again from x cubed times x squared. The rules for exponents is when I am multiplying, I now add my exponents. So 3 plus 2 is where the 5 is coming from. X cubed times 2x is going to result in 2x to the 4th. Why? Because 3 plus 1 is 4. And it's going to align, as I'm writing, the exponent should align vertically. All right, and then finally, I have negative 6x cubed. This all came from me taking this x cubed and multiplying it times each term, including the sign. Now, my next step in the process asks me to subtract. Well, when I subtract, that simply means changing the sign. So this is a negative now. This is also a negative, and this becomes a positive. I'm using different colors so that I will remember that I did actually, in fact, change those signs. If I'm doing this correctly, the first term will always go away, always. Now I have to understand there's a 1 in front of that x to the 4th. So now I'm just doing the math. I have 2 different signs, which means I'm subtracting and taking the sign of the bigger number. So this is really 1 plus negative 2 or negative 2 plus 1. We don't have to put the negative 1 per se. We can just do negative x to the 4th. It's understood there's a 1 there. And the next step is negative 34 plus negative 34 plus 6, which means we are still subtracting. And this time I'm going to take 34 and subtract 6 from it. So that is going to be negative 28 x cubed. And I bring down, that's my next step. That's what this B stands for. I'm going to bring down this negative 19 x squared. Start the process all over. I'm going to divide my first term by my first term of my divisor. Over to the side, if you choose to show your work, this is what it would look like. I have a negative sign, so I have to keep up with that. And then 4 minus 2 is going to leave me a 2. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to put that above my x squared. All right, now I do the process again. I take the entire part of my quotient and multiply it to each term, including that sign. That's very important. It's going to look exactly like what's above it. It should be exactly the same. If it's not, you're doing something wrong. Negative x squared times 2x is negative 2x cubed because I'm adding the exponents. And then the next one is going to be plus 6x because a negative times x squared. A negative times another negative is a positive. I'm now subtracting, so I'm going to change the signs for everyone. Plus, plus, minus. The first one always goes away. Negative 28 plus 2 is negative 26, x cubed. Negative 19 plus negative 6 is negative 25, x squared. My next step asks me to bring down, so plus 32x. Start the process again. Take my first term divided by my first term of my divisor. Negative 26 x cubed divided by x squared is negative 26 x, 3 minus 2. That's where I'm getting that from. So negative 26x. And I take that, I multiply times all of my divisor, which is going to give me the negative 26x cubed. And negative 26 times 2 is negative 52x squared. Negative 26 times negative 6 is positive 156x. I'm going to subtract, which requires me to change all the signs. First term goes away. Negative 25 plus 52 results in positive 27. I don't have to write positive, just 27 x squared. 32 minus 156 is going to be negative 124x. And then I bring down this final constant, which is plus 10. Start the process again. I take my first term, 27x squared, and I divide it again by the first term of my divisor. The x squareds go away, 2 minus 2 is 0, and I'm left with 27. So that's going up on top because this is my quotient, plus 27. I take 27 and I multiply it out because, again, I have to finish all of those steps. I can't just stop once I put that final number there. Once I multiply, I have 27x squared because it should be exactly as what was already there. 27 times 2 is a positive 54x. And then 27 times negative 6 is negative 162. My next step asks me to subtract, which means changing the signs. And I'm going to get rid of that first term. And when I add down, negative 124 plus negative 54 is negative 178x. And then 10 plus 162 is 172. This is my divisor, my remainder. This is my remainder. So the way that you write your remainder is going to be in fraction form. So next to my quotient, I'm going to write negative 178x plus 172, all divided by my divisor. And my divisor just happened to be x squared plus 2x minus 6. This is the answer to your problem. I mean, this is your quotient, so make sure you know the terminology. Another way you may see people write it is they will put the negative here and then put a plus sign in front. That way is okay as well. I just prefer to have my sign in front of the entire fraction. I'm going to take the same problem, but I'm going to use the area model. So what you will see is over to the side, my divisor is shown in vertical form. The first step is to fill in this first box with the first term of your dividend. So what that will look like is I'm going to have x to the 5th power. Now, everything that happens on this first row has to be divided by what's on the outside. And then once you start working with your quotient up here, that is going to be multiplied times the last 2 rows. So this is how it looks. So we already showed the work above, x to the 5th divided by x squared. It's the same problem, but I'm just doing it a different way. So that's what your work would look like. So we already know that part of my quotient is going to be x cubed. So I'm going to take this x cubed and now multiply it times 2x and put that answer there. So 2x times x cubed is positive 2x to the 4th. And then I'm going to take that x cubed and multiply it times the negative 6. And that results in negative 6x cubed. What I should notice is that I'm counting down 5, 4, 3. It's going to work the same way going across. I'm going to have a 5, 4, 3, 2, and so on and so forth. Now, the next step requires me to try to fill this second box in. Well, how do I get that? I have to always look diagonally. Diagonally, your variable and your exponent will be the same. Now, what I'm looking for is what will make 2 plus what will give me this 1x to the fourth that's in my dividend. So if I'm not really clear, I'm going to show you in a few minutes how to set up an equation, but this one happens to be pretty easy. I can just say 2 minus 1. You can write the 1 here, but it's not necessary. So 2 minus 1 will result in 1, a positive x to the fourth. Now I can start the process again. I can start dividing. Negative 1x to the fourth divided by x squared is simply going to give me negative x squared. Okay, so then I start the multiplication process to fill in my next two boxes using what I just wrote. So negative x squared times 2x is negative 2x cubed. Negative x squared times negative 6, a negative times a negative changes it to a positive. So positive 6x squared. I need to find this next box. In order to do that, I look diagonally. And I have to fill in what will make this equal what is shown in my dividend. So the way that you can do that is, let me move this over a little so I can show some work. Take what I already know. I have a negative 6, I have a negative 2, plus what will give me negative 34. So solve for x. Negative 8 plus x is equal to negative 34. And now if I add 8 on both sides, x becomes negative 26. So that's what I'm going to put in the box, the first box, negative 26, but again, the same variable and the same exponent. Now I can start the division process. Negative 26x cubed divided by what's on the outside, x squared, will result in negative 26x. Again, I'm counting down 3, 2, 1. So my next answer over here will be a constant. But before I can get to that, I have to fill in these next two boxes. And how do I do that? I take my portion of the dividend, the quotient that I was just working with, and multiply it times those two numbers that are on the outside. So negative 26x times 2x is negative 52x squared. Negative 26x times negative 6 is positive 156x. I'm trying to fill in this box. In order to do it, I look diagonally. I'm trying to add up to negative 19. So I take what I know and I set up an equation. I have 6 minus 52 plus something will equal negative 19. So doing my math over here, negative 52, 6 minus 52 or negative 52 plus 6 is going to be 46. Yeah, 46 plus x is equal to negative 19. And then I'm subtracting 46 on this side, which will result in x being negative 65. Okay, something's not right. Let me double check my math here. Let me just use a calculator instead of trying to do this in my head. So 6 minus 52, negative 56. That should have been a negative. That's why. So that should be a negative 46. And then I'm going to add 46 on both sides. And 46 minus 19 will be positive 27. So I should put a 27 here. X squared. When I divide 27x squared by x squared, it simply leaves me with that constant 27. So again, I'm finished with the dividing part, but I still have to multiply and fill those two boxes in. So 27 times 2 is positive 54x. And 27 times negative 6 is negative 162. What I need to do now, I have to do this 2 more times because I have a number here and I have a number two numbers there. So I have to fill in those two blanks. Everything else, I don't need it. Okay. So let's start with this one. I'm looking for an X that will end up being 32. Let me erase this so I'll have some room over here to show my work. Hold on. Okay, so I have 156 plus 54 plus something has to equal 32. And again, I'm getting that from my dividend. Whatever is showing there, I have to account for these numbers. What just happened? Uh-oh, my computer is acting up, y'all. I guess it's getting hot. All right, so here we go. 156 plus 54 is 210 plus X is equal to 32. And then I'm going to try to solve for X. So that means I have to take the inverse. X is equal to, let's see, 32 minus 210, which is negative 178. So that's what we're going to put in that box, negative 178X. When I add all those numbers up, it will equal 32. And then finally, this is my last box. So 162, negative 162 plus what will equal 10? Again, I'm getting that 10 from there. And I'm going to add 162 because that's the inverse. I'm trying to zero it out on this side and end up with X is equal to 172. So my 172 goes here. And I am finished because I wouldn't keep going. Now, what just happened is this is my remainder, all of it. And we saw that a few minutes ago above. And I'll compare the answers here in a minute. So what we need to put here is negative 178X plus 172 all over our divisor, which is X squared plus 2X minus 6. So this is my final quotient using the area model. And again, if you go back up, you will see it's the exact same answer. It's just a different method. And then our last method of dividing polynomials will be synthetic division. Pay attention to your exponents, make sure nothing's missing. And I see that I am missing the cubic exponent. So that means I'm going to have to use a zero placeholder. Also with synthetic division, I am not showing the variables in my work. I'm just showing the coefficients and the constant. So that's what this is what it will look like. Well, yeah, this is what it will look like. Let me just go ahead and write those numbers down. It's going to be 3, 12. And since I'm missing the third power, I'm going to put a 0 there. Negative 10 because I have to keep up with the signs, negative 46 and negative 15. Now, the last column will be my remainder. The column, not the column, this portion here is going to be my divisor. Well, where do I get that from? I set this equal to 0, and whatever that variable equals, that's my divisor. So in this case, it's going to be the negative. It's going to be negative 4. It's the opposite sign. So everything above, I'm adding down. Everything below, I am multiplying times the divisor. My first step is to take my leading coefficient and bring it down. So 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. 12 minus, or 12 plus negative 12 is 0. 0 times negative 4 is 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 times negative 4 is still 0. Negative 10 plus 0 is negative 10. Negative 10 times negative 4 is positive 40. And negative 46 plus 40 is negative 6. Negative 6 times negative 4 is positive 24. And positive 24 minus 15, or negative 15 plus 24, is positive 9. Okay, so now I have to put my variables back. If my degree, my problem started with 5, then my answer will go down 1 degree. So instead of being 3v to the 5th is actually 3v to the 4th. I am missing a third power and a second power. So the next one is my v. And then finally my constant. So my final answer is going to be 3v to the 4th minus 10v minus 6. And then I have a remainder. So that remainder is in the form of a fraction, 9 over v plus 4, because that is my divisor. Whatever your divisor is, that's what your remainder will go over. This is polynomial division. Have a great day.